Sorry, it's Pokemon week, but we still got to talk about fantasy. Let's get to it. I hope I win, but it's going to take his team having some problems like last week, and it's going to take my team really putting some things together, including some guys who haven't.
Yeah. I mean, man, the season's over. I've given up, right?
What?
Welcome to the Chuck and Dave Pod.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Dave.
And
Got to catch them all.
Yeah.
Got to pot them all.
Got to win them all.
Got to win them all.
Got to win them all.
Oh,
You're doing pretty well. You've got 3 badges thus far.
Yeah.
Some of us are still trying to get through Civilian City.
There you go.
Yeah, you have to turn backwards when you battle, for sure.
Get serious.
Get serious.
Ah.
I assume that music is fine. It's edited enough.
Music you have
liberties with if you edit it enough.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a remixed enough that I won't
had me singing along. Pika pika
pika pika. Actually, there was a song. There's a whole that's like a 20-minute segment, so it's like got like a bunch of different songs, and I just took that one because it's kind of very remembering, like very memorable as far as Pokemon music goes. But there was the first one was like the full-on Pokemon theme song from the TV show that was remixed, and apparently people were saying like as soon as they put that on YouTube, boom, their video was shut down. So I avoided that one.
That one's pretty popular.
Well, I think it had some. It was a little too close. There wasn't enough remixing going on.
We'll find out what's too close soon if we watch the Pal World lawsuit.
That's true. Hopefully they don't come after me. So for those that may be paying attention, you may notice that my mouth may not match my words. I apologize. I'm using a camera that I don't normally use because I had some computer issues, and so we have a new setup, and hopefully by next week I can get it kind of sorted out.
I will be accurate with my mouth.
Yeah.
Just look over here.
Yeah, just don't pay attention to me. I'll as long as you don't see my mouth move, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll catch on. You'll catch on. We know Alex is listening to it in the car, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Speaking of that, I am shocked that we are 4 weeks in and he is just now learning how the waivers are working this year.
Yeah, I kind of just caught a little bit of the conversation that you were having.
Yeah, he's well, I commented, I gave congratulations to Josh, I believe, on getting Geno Smith, because every week I've had a couple people I've like waffled between, and then after I make my pick, the one I didn't pick has gotten an incredibly good score. So since I chose Justin Fields, he will get a 7 this week, and since I passed on Geno Smith, he will get a 30, I expect. So I congratulated Josh. And then Alex came up and said, "Well, I got Baker Mayfield for free," and I said, "Well, what do you mean for free?" And he was like, "I didn't have to lose my spot in the waiver order." I was like, "Well, I didn't either."
Yeah, we made this big, and the thing is we made like a pretty big
deal out of it. Yeah,
deal out of the fact that
you missed the plot. You missed a lot.
Yeah, I thought we were pretty clear about it. We talked about it multiple times.
That explains now why he's been like not doing much on the waivers, but then he like goes crazy on things immediately that morning.
Yeah.
So now I expect we'll see him just putting things in. Hopefully. Speaking of the waivers, not near as much activity today as there has been in past weeks. I think
it was
interesting because
on
one hand, people are probably just getting used to their teams. On the other hand, though, it is the buys starting, and I thought maybe we'd see some stuff. So let's do a quick little waiver recap of the week. Honestly, It was mostly me.
A lot of you.
Got rid of Carson Steele. I don't think he's going anywhere. They pretty well benched him last week after he fumbled again.
Yeah.
To try out Justin Fields, everything I look at says that he's primed to do well against Dallas, so that means he will not.
Never know.
He may be. I hope he does. I sure hope he does. Took Denver over Miami, which I was really pleased with because I saw that both you and Josh attempted to do that, and so I was very happy. That's a victory.
Well, so I got my second pick because I was going between Minnesota, or I was like wavering, no pun intended, between Denver and Minnesota. I was just like,
what makes you excited about Minnesota against the Jets? Just seeing what they did against the Broncos last week, or
I just don't see that team's. Yeah, it's more of the fact that consistently they've been above 10 points pretty much every week. And even though they've played the 49ers, the Packers and stuff, they're still getting that like plus 10.
So they're kind of a matchup proof team, you're thinking. They're just going to do well.
I don't know if they're matchup proof, but at least I think that at least they can provide some stability, because right now the Cowboys are like, I think last week, what did you say the average was? Like 1 point was my average, or 0 point?
Yeah, you got a -1 and then you got a 1, so you were averaging 0.
It's just
not that it's been hurting you, but you
got
weaknesses.
But it could hurt me, and I don't want it to hurt me.
Okay. And then I decided to go back to Michael Pittman because, of course, the week I drop him, he went and got some points. They just wait. They just wait. Here I sit with him 5, 4, 5, and then he goes off for 12.
I also saw that as soon as you dropped Christian Kirk, he kind of went off too.
He's been doing better, but I don't know. I wouldn't pick it. I can't trust anybody.
No.
You never know if the Jaguars are going to have a week where they get a 0. And
yeah,
I don't know. And then Josh was able to get Geno Smith. He dropped Njigba. And he swapped Cleveland for Seattle. So everybody got at least their second defenses.
Yep.
The Juwan Jennings experiment is over for Alex after going from 37 to 8.
Just try.
Now, how many times?
I don't even think he started him.
Is Baker Mayfield the one that he owned for only 3 minutes last week?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's back. And then later, I decided to cut loose Kyle Pitts. Everything I've been reading is just like he is not gonna get better. So, but tight ends, there's nowhere to go for tight ends. I mean, none of the tight ends in particular are doing amazing, but there's just no depth. I think you're gonna be okay now with Kelsey being the only person that can catch a ball on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They finally injured enough people in front of him that he'll have to be thrown to.
Yeah, exactly. I did see the Pat Freiermuth, the eternal journeyman. I feel like he's
actually like one of the higher ranked tight ends overall. And it's not like so many of the tight ends, you go up there and you look at them and they've got, whatever. I think even the top tight end only has 40 some points, but then, you have some higher pointing tight ends, but it's like, cause they had one game where they got like a 15 or a 20 and then the rest have been like 4. So of all of them, Freiermuth has been fairly consistent. At least like his floor seems to be better. He's got a 5, 5, 5, and a 13. So like, I know I'm probably going to get at least a 5, which is better than I've been getting most weeks with Laporta.
Yeah, and so he was on your team already. Pat Freiermuth was already on your team.
He was my last pick initially,
and then you dropped him on September 11th, and then my dad picked him up, and then dropped him, and. Now you got him back.
I don't think he's ever been played, though.
I don't know if he has ever been played.
I don't remember your dad ever starting him.
I don't think so.
He's just the hot potato tight end. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, who you wanted last week was Taysom Hill.
I saw him on there, and I'm like, ooh, do I have a spot for Mr.
Even when I was an injury, and still I think was the top scoring tight end last week. So,
I saw it. I considered it, and then realized I just do not have space on my team right now for for
I'm
somebody.
curious here. Let's see, who was the highest? Derrick Henry was the highest scoring player last week.
Interesting.
Then Kenneth Walker, and then Justin Fields.
Really?
It always ends up being quarterbacks when you look at them. So anyway, week 4 is in the books. Not a great week. Nobody was really happy with it. It was a bad week for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
This is bad. No, I guess some people are probably happy. You finally got your loss. We'll get to that.
It's okay.
You know what, though? Now the pressure of having to go undefeated is gone.
Yes, it's yeah.
Sam's record from 2018 will live on another year.
Sam can crack some champagne like the 1972 Dolphins.
Yeah, you should celebrate tonight, Sam. Maybe so. I think Sam was listening last week, so he should be aware of the record that he holds. Also, Jordan won his first game, so Jordan can be happy knowing that he also still holds the record for the longest losing streak. I think it was Jordan, right? No, it was the Fergals. The Fergals hold the longest losing streak, so they can crack open some champagne tonight as well, knowing that record is safe.
Yeah,
for another year. So where do you want to start?
Let's go with. Let's try to find.
None of them were particularly close. They were all pretty far apart.
I mean, I would say we can end with mine just because it probably had the most drama around it, excitement around it, I guess. So let's start with Josh versus Sam. So I forgot the Phlegmoids versus the Musk Oxen.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lopsided.
So, an uncharacteristic turd for the Musk Oxen. They've been otherwise very consistent and hot this week, but Josh Allen had a bad week against them. Breece Hall was basically no show for Denver.
Mm-hmm.
James Cook was basically a no-show because he has 2 of the Bills teams. That's one maybe weakness for him, is that he's got both Allen and Cook. So when the Bills have a bad week, he will have a very bad week. Your record was 2-1 and is now 2-2, Sam.
What was my record?
So we are here for those hard-hitting questions like that.
Yeah. What's my record, guys?
Where do I look for that?
I'm wondering if he's talking about Sam's 6-0 record.
Oh, the record that you hold, Sam, is that in 2018 you won the first 6 games in a row. So you hold the record for the longest initial winning streak in the Yahoo era.
Yep. I was halfway there, Sam.
My low PA
Thank Alex
back this week. Yeah, he definitely did. He could have played me and had even better magic. It was just a bad week for Sam, I think. Every once in a while, we get a week like that where things just don't go our way. I wouldn't panic about his team.
No.
Meanwhile, Josh, I hate to say it, but it's become a good team.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to
an aberration because I initially thought that was going to be more like where he'd be. And he hasn't made a huge changes except Dobbins. And Dobbins is not the reason he's where he is.
It's true.
But
although Kenneth Walker sitting on the bench, man, that would have
could have had more.
Could have had more.
Could have had more. Worthy too there, but he got plenty. What do you get? Between Brown, Neighbors, Taylor, Robinson.
Yeah.
The kicker getting 25 obviously helps there, but he had more. I think half his team at least got over 15. That's always going to be a good one. I mean, Neighbors even had negative rushing yards. He still got 17 points.
Yeah, no touchdowns, just a ton of receptions.
Because that's the only person Danny Dimes can throw to.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I hate to say that anybody other than me is doing well when it comes down to it.
Mm-hmm.
He hates to. Of course, I hate to say it. However, we have been enlightened. This winning, these points have kind of opened some new chakras, a new level for the Bezoic Phlegmoids, and fortunately, most people will go like this and they'll kind of just keep those secrets to themselves. But we're very thankful that he has been blessing us with his lineup advice.
So you drafted who? Malik Neighbors?
Neighbors. He went with the rookies, and it worked out.
I'm not actually sure if that's why you drafted him, Josh. I think I mean, it's okay to say, hey, I got lucky. I got lucky with Kamara.
You didn't get lucky. You purposely got 5 picks. Well, Kamara was a late pick, so yeah, you did get lucky.
Kamara was 7th round pick, and he was the best on the board. I actually didn't want to draft him. I got lucky. He got lucky.
He worked out. You know the rookies. You can't know for sure, but Harrison and Neighbors have certainly worked out well for him. Having Taylor has been very good. I think Robinson was another lucky one. I think people were like okay on him going into the year, but I don't think people thought he was going to be this kind of bell cow.
Yeah.
Thing going on there. So he beat Sam by quite a bit. He now, I believe, that was the biggest blowout, right?
Yep.
So Josh now is alone as the only person to have multiple biggest blowouts. So congratulations on that. And he moves to 3-1, which also ties the current active winning streak, or not active, the year win streak. He's tied with you. You each have 3 wins in a row. So
yep.
You have to do something about that.
Well,
I drafted him because he was basically the only target in the Giants. Robinson was total luck.
Okay.
There you go. Right from the source's mouth.
Also,
as I was about to say earlier, Josh's wisdom for the week is thou shalt not carry 3 quarterbacks on a non-bye week.
Yeah.
So
you listen to the guru.
Put on the fortune cookie.
All right, let's go. Let's drop down to Blue Golds versus the Appalachian White Lightning.
Oh, I guess I didn't even look at what I had written down here, did I? I think I pretty much got everything there. All right, yeah. Low scoring affair, as I predicted last week.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm right. I did not do well in any of my picks, though. I think I went 0-4.
You went 0-4.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that was
terrible. But this, I think, is closer to what the Blue Golds are. I mean, 3 of their 4 games have been low points, and 1 was a rocket. And I think that shows that that's more luck when you get the 136. I don't think 77 is more floor territory, but this is just closer to what they are. They've been a lucky team this year to manage 2 wins so far, I think. He keeps rolling Mahomes. I mean, 6 wins not terrible, but bad week for Wilson. Charbonnet obviously suffers from Walker being back.
Yep.
Chase is still doing well. Elliott kind of let him down. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have any like 0s or 1s or anything, just kind of an across the board ho-hum type week. Meanwhile, the White Lightning didn't have to do a whole lot, which is good because they can't do a whole lot.
Yep. It seems like when Jaden Reed scores a lot, Jordan wins. So he's going to be
21
hoping...
points in your flex will help. He got 13 from the kicker. Decent day from Jackson and Moss. I'm surprised Houston only got 3 points against Jacksonville, honestly.
And Rashid Shaheed sitting on his bench scoring points.
He's back, baby.
I am actually surprised that he continues to play Brandon Ayuk. Everything I have read is basically like Brandon Ayuk is.
I said it from the beginning of the year that Ayuk is not someone you want out there.
Yeah.
I mean, even with nobody else there for them to throw to, he can't.
I get Jameson Williams is probably a hard bet to like, but I'm looking back at his scores and he's 21-11, and then he had a 0.75, and then he had 15. So I think Jameson Williams might be a good one to throw back out there. Rashid Shaheed, as long as he gets the targets, I guess. So
yeah, I mean the 0 is an aberration. His floor is probably more on that 10 or whatever. Maybe I should have kept him. Who knows? Probably should have.
Either way, not the most exciting game.
Yeah,
but
it did get the AWOLs off the Schneid. They have the 1 win in their column, so we will once again not have a winless team.
Yeah,
that just shows you how great we are on the Make Fantasy Football Great Again League.
It's true.
We know what we're doing.
All right, so
don't make me relive mine.
Sorry, we gotta
do it.
It's a rough one.
68.2. And obviously the Rice injury hurts a lot.
Yes.
When compounded with the Smith injury and the Nakua injury, I have 3 wide receivers who are all gone. Basically, all the wide receivers I drafted are all out of there. But at the end of the day, even if I had put in I had no wide receivers. If I had put in Shakir, I'd have 8 more points. I'd be at 70.
Yeah.
It would still be a terrible day. Terrible day. Murray is an absolute roller coaster, and there's no way I'm ever going to know when he puts up 30 points. I am fed up with Murray. I thought he was going to – he doesn't run much. I don't know. The whole point of taking him was that you're going to get a rushing quarterback and get some nice yardage, but he does not anymore. The only time he got the big points was when he had more passing. So it's just frustrating there. As I was kind of telling you earlier this year, my team is just a mix of injuries and bad picks, and then occasionally, but honestly, most weeks my bench has been pretty bare. Hubbard, should have had him in. I'll tell you what, I was sitting here Thursday night watching Singletary do absolutely nothing after he's been tearing up every team, going against the team that has been getting torn up. And of course, because I played him, he gets a 4.
Yep, that's true.
What the heck, man? Nothing said that I should, Hubbard, I'm like, okay, I should wait another week. Well, no, obviously that was stupid. Even Montgomery would have been better. But I thought the Miami thing was going to be good. And then as soon as Levis went out and they threw in Rudolph, I was like, gosh, dang it. They put in a competent quarterback. God, you just can't catch a break.
Yeah.
Injuries going against me on both sides.
Yep.
We also found out that Alex likes Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, that's an odd one.
Yeah. So here's some interesting things here, I guess. I've calculated out every team and how much they're scoring compared to their projections each week. And you'll be shocked to know that I am doing the worst. I am averaging just about 15 points under my projection every week.
Really?
Yeah, which just goes to show that on paper, my team looks good.
Yeah.
They just aren't performing. The next closest worst is the Blue Golds, who are underscoring by 9 every week. So it's a pretty big difference. The highest one is the Lamb of God. They're averaging 21 points over their projection each week, but that is heavily skewed by 2 weeks when he scored way over. So his team is just an enigma. You are sitting at 19 points over projection.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad. That's amazing. It's really good. A couple other fun tidbits here. I thought it was very interesting that Kara did take out Adams when he was injured, but did not take out McBride. Was this just her intense commitment to not using the waiver wire?
No, so this was definitely, she realized this way too late. It was like 12:02 and she went.
Yeah, but
crap.
McBride didn't play until 3.
Then it was 3.
I was looking at that. I was watching this because like all the way up to Sunday morning, there were both teams 0 in there, and I was like, okay, please leave them in.
So again,
and then I saw that swapped out, but I saw that her other tight end had already played, so she couldn't put Ferguson in.
Yes.
Which meant she would have had to go to the waivers, and we know she hates waivers.
I don't think she would have minded that. It was the fact that she did not realize it until it was too late. I remember her talking to me going, I think I'm going to lose. My tight end is out. And I didn't realize it.
Maybe Josh talked to her about how you shouldn't carry 3 tight ends.
Probably.
Because I don't think she would have wanted to drop
probably it.
She wouldn't have wanted to drop McBride.
I mean, it's probably it.
I'm sure that was it. But I thought that was an interesting choice. I'm going to chalk it up to waiver dedication. The last time, I was curious. I was like, when was the last time that the Puffins scored 68 or lower? And the answer is that it's only happened once ever before in the entire Yahoo era that I've scored 68 or lower. And that was back in 2018, week 16, the first playoff game. I scored a 59.
Really?
And ever since then, the lowest I'd have otherwise since then was a 70 in week 6 of 2020.
Wow.
So That was rough. That was rough. Also, the last time I was 1-3 was 2020, which was the year I finished in 8th. So we're mirroring.
It's not good, Chuck.
History rhymes. History rhymes, as they say.
History rhymes.
I told you you'd get to hear about my woes this week, but that's all right. We got to hear your woes the last 2 years. So
yeah, I mean, like what you're saying reminds me so much of what I was saying the last 2 years, where it's like my team just so comes in so like blah. It's like I can't break. I mean, there was a long period where I couldn't break 100.
I
last
think you
year
almost set the record for the most games under 100 in a row.
I mean, it was gross, and I'm happy it's not happening to me this year, but I do feel for you, Chuck.
It's not over. It's not over. I think the team has potential. We're going to get Nakua back here potentially in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, Devonta Smith should be back, I'd assume, after the bye, because his was just.
The problem is that if he comes back and Devon comes back too, it'll eat into him. But
sorry, I didn't have the ticker up, guys.
There we go. All right, so we got 1 game left. We got the Lamb of Gods and the QPCs, which definitely was the most unexpected and exciting of the games.
That was so I was paying attention to my game on Sunday during the day, and it was obviously very close, even after Thursday night. And I remember being like, oh, it's going to be close. And then, Alex went into pity mode because all of a sudden I really wasn't watching the games, but all I saw and it was, man, Chuck, your team and my team suck so bad. And then Sunday night, I think it was Sunday night, Alex put something. I did not watch that game, the Baltimore Ravens game. But somebody said something about Derrick Henry, and I'm like, oh, wow. And he actually made it a game. And then by the end of that game, I'm like, there's very little chance that my kicker is going to be able to outplay.
Yeah, it wasn't. The
Tony
Monday
Pollard.
Night, it did come down to Monday night, but Pollard versus a kicker was not.
Well, but the thing is Pollard hasn't been like this 20-point juggernaut either.
No, I think you probably also got affected by the Titans suddenly having a competent quarterback.
Yes.
Which happens, unfortunately.
Yeah. That it hurt. I mean, I will say we were texting back and forth, and I'm like, you know what? I don't like losing, but at the same time I'm still hitting that above 130, so I can't be too upset.
You lost to quality. It was a hard-fought quality game right there.
When you're putting up 130 and you still lose, that's still pretty good. Yeah. Like, at least my team is being at least somewhat consistent.
Now here's a chance to laud you, because you still have yet to score under 130, as you just said. The last time that there was a 4-game stretch of 130 plus, that's what I was curious about. Okay. And it turns out it's actually only ever happened twice. All before this. This is only the 3rd time that we've had it. The last time it happened was in 2022 when the Polecats went above 130 for weeks 10 through 13. And of course, that was a historic offense.
Yeah, that was
that year. The longest stretch is only 5 games. If you can do it one more, you'll buy it.
That was on me again.
It was back in 2018 when none other than the Northeast Nightmares went 5 weeks in a row, weeks 9 through 13, topping 130, en route to their championship that year.
Wow. Northeast Nightmares.
So both times it's happened before, that team went on to win the championship. So,
oh, wow.
This bodes well. This bodes well. Even if you don't get 130 next week, just hitting the 4 club puts you in rarefied air. It's just me and you.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one else knows how to do it.
Apparently, no one else has figured out consistency like you and I.
I don't want to make you feel too good, though. So I will comment on this. The one in 2022, when I did it, I actually went 4 weeks scoring above 140.
I mean, you did have like this insanely historic team. I do remember that. Like, it was so crazy. That team was
It was awesome. It was fun. That's what helps me get through this year.
It's unstoppable.
This is what gets me through this year right now.
Better find some wood and knock on it fast, Josh says.
That's actually my plan, Josh, is to just jinx Dave every week with stats.
Gotta knock out those.
Now, another interesting stat on the other side. Alex's team, what the heck is it? What is it?
Yeah.
I have no idea who they are. Weeks 1 and 4, he has an average of 164 points. Weeks 2 and 3, he has an 88 average. You don't know what team he's going to get. He's either blowing people out of the water or like a wet fart. You just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like Derrick Henry's probably going to be this benchmark. That's like, this is probably going to be a pretty consistent thing for him, is scoring these like 20 to 30 points.
You think Henry's going to be there for good now?
I think Henry will play well. Nico Collins, that's one too. It's like, what is he going to score? 25 points, or is he going to score 8?
True.
CeeDee Lamb, same thing. Is he going to score 20 points, or is he going to score 4? I am actually 100%. I am 100% blown away that he put Caleb Williams in. I didn't even realize he did. And I'm like, why did he play him?
It was a matchup. Look, the Rams were 4th.
I mean, he's just, they're playing a bunch of bad guys. You look at their entire matchup is all green. He hasn't even.
To be fair,
the Bears haven't been winning
better than Richardson.
Yes, that's true. But I mean, there's so many. I mean, again, I know Alex already whipped himself enough about this, but like, he had like Baker Mayfield, he had all these other guys that were just sitting there. Now, granted, didn't matter. It did not matter.
Mm-hmm.
So good on him.
Yeah, and I think apparently his strategy of having 3 Bears teams is working this week.
But yeah, I mean, my team.
What's the gross in comment to?
I'm assuming when you said wet fart.
Oh, he's offended easily.
Now, could I have changed my fate a little bit by putting in Jordan Love over Prescott? Yes.
Man, you don't often see a quarterback throw 3 interceptions and still score 29.
That was insane. It is just blew my. When I saw his score at the end of that game, I was like, "What?"
I had to be at a parade on Sunday, and I was kind of keeping track before we were stepping off, and it was like, oh my gosh, they're doing terrible this year. The Packers, they're doing terrible this week. It's awful. Whatever. I'm glad I'm missing this game. And then on the way back, some of the students are like, well, they're coming back. They just got it to whatever. I'm like, they went for 2 and they got it. I'm like, holy crap, they're actually going to make it. Apparently, it's quite the crazy game.
Yeah, I actually stopped watching from like pretty much right before halftime to like the 4th quarter. And then all of a sudden they started to come back. I'm like, okay, I should probably pay attention. Because Kara was like, aren't you watching the Packer game? I'm like, no, I just don't want to see the Packers get blown out by the Vikings.
It's hard to watch when it's 28-0.
Yeah.
The fact that they held them then all the way through the second half to just a field goal.
Yeah.
That's some pretty good halftime adjustments.
That's a Bill Belichick halftime adjustment.
I think so. And in reference to Josh's QB carousel to Alex, I think it'd be fun to see by the end of the year how many of the 32 quarterbacks can have said that they were on his roster.
So just so you're aware, we're aware, Jordan just texted me saying he sent us both trade requests.
He sent everybody trade requests. I already
just sent it. Just
now. Breaking news.
Oh, sorry,
Where's
Jordan.
Rappaport?
I can't. Jordan's trade is Jaden Reed for Saquon Barkley. I am gonna have to reject that one, Jordo. Although,
but why would you want to get rid of Reed? If you got rid of Reed and got Barkley, like, he wouldn't gain that much.
Barkley's more consistent than Reed has been.
Probably, but like most weeks, it's not going to be such a huge difference.
Although your first trade was tantalizing, Jordan, because Drake London really is kind of like probably one of my weaker parts in my team.
He's another pretty even swap here. He's this Jameson Williams for Devin Singletary.
Interesting.
That seems pretty.
Is that tempting? Is that tempting, Chuck?
Too much, because now that I'm pretty confident with Hubbard and Montgomery's been doing pretty well, so I'm not sure that I need another. Right now, see, 2 weeks ago, I thought my big thing was like I feel pretty good about my wide receivers, but my running backs are pretty thin. And then now I have no wide receivers, but I feel pretty good about my running backs. Although I'd like to see Bichon do a little better for how highly touted he was.
Alex, I guess I wouldn't say Barkley's way better than Reed. Jaden Reed is, I mean, I think for the most part, they're like points-wise, they're pretty even. It's just Saquon is a little on the.
Well, there's a difference in almost 40 total points between them so far this year. So that's 10 points a week more than he's scoring. So yeah, I'd have to beat on that.
That's why I offered Jameson. He's a wide receiver. Oh no, that's why apparently he's Jordan. Answer in chat here, man. He apparently, for you.
Oh, Williams is a wide receiver.
Yeah,
I guess I thought for some reason I was thinking he was a running back. I don't know that I trust Bo Nix enough. Plus, he's going into a bye next week, so it doesn't help me.
Too much of a committee at Green Bay. You're thinking, but Jaden Reed isn't a running back, Alex. Oh, you're talking about a wide receiver committee?
Jaden Reed seems to be doing pretty well in that committee.
Yeah, Jaden Reed is basically the leader of that committee, if that's what you're saying. I mean, it's
after Reed, it's pretty committee with Dobbs and Wicks and
like I almost picked up Dontavian Wicks this week, and I was just like, he hasn't done anything outside of this week, and I'm like, that is the definition of point chasing. But I'd consider him over Drake London. But
I'll look into it. I guess I'll look into the Williams thing. I'll get back to you, Jordan. I'll get back to you.
Yep, Williams is on the Lions. Williams is the Lions, he says. I don't know what that means. Wicks did have a good game, but again, that's point chasing just because he had a good name. Is he the leader? I don't think so. Yes, he is the leader. He's the only wide receiver that is consistently catching and scoring points, Alex. If you watch any Packer game, Watson has done absolutely nothing this season outside of being like he basically runs deep and trails the cornerbacks with him. Romeo Dobbs has done nothing statistically significant. Dontavian Wicks, I mean, even with Dontavian Wicks having a breakout game last week, even with Dontavian Wicks getting a breakout game last week, Jaden Reed still scored 22 points. So, I mean, like, he's definitely the leader of the wide receivers.
I would side with Dave here for sure.
Anyway, it was a good game. I didn't like losing, but at the same time, pretty much.
Let's if we look at the standings now, we have a tie. 2 teams, 3-1.
Yep.
But you have a points advantage of about 50 over him right now. And then we have Alex and Sam and Kara and Todd all tied, but they're very different teams. Like to be 2-2. Yeah, again, you got Alex, who's hot and cold. Sam's team has been pretty consistently good. One of his losses was only because he happened to be going against an even better team that week. So really, he could easily be 3-1. Kara's team, I think, is kind of lucky to be 2-2 because other than week 1, they've been not very good.
Yep.
High scoring. And then Todd is lucky to have any wins at all, other than his 1-136, I guess. Then you got you got me, you got the Puffins, who I wouldn't say deserve to be higher than 1-3 right now with what they've been doing. And then you got Jordan. who apparently is very close to me. Me levels there. So I'm looking at this and I'm starting to see some pulling away. Definitely right now, I did write down a little power rankings here for myself. I know it has its own. I have not looked at the Yahoo power rankings, so maybe we'll look and see who compares. I don't trust it. Right now, I put you in front, and I'm going to start using the Pokemon names at this point because it is Pokemon week and we're looking to the next week. So the Pallet Town Rivals, I'm putting at number 1 in the power rankings. And again, as much as it pains me to do this, I'm going to have to put the Unova Dragon Rage second right now because they have been scoring very, very high for 3 weeks in a row and pretty handedly winning their games. Then number 3, I'm going to put the Meltank still. They've had one bad week. I think it's not going to be the norm. I'm going to keep them number 3. I really think that he's going to be in the mix at the end. I think those, honestly, are the top 3 teams that are going to be contending for the final 2 at this point.
Okay.
Now, things can change. We've gotten to week 8 before and seen things change. But for now, it's right. Now, 4th, I had to put the Muse just because they're a wild card. So I put them there. 5th, then I did put the Yampers. I think that of the 4 remaining teams, they're probably the strongest right now. It's hard. These last 4 are kind of a jumbo. I did put the Toucannons in 6th in the current last playoff spot. I think my team is better than Todd's. He's just gotten here in who he's played, I think, including playing me one of those weeks.
Yeah.
That he has a win. I did put the Blue Golds in 7th. I think that they're actually a worse team than the Unknown, but they've gotten luckier. And then I have Unknown in 8th.
All right, you want to hear what Yahoo says is the power rankings here? You ready for this? Okay, so number 1, Pallet Town Rivals. Number 2, Zap Kicking Yampers.
It's number 2?
Number 2.
How?
By a pretty large, like 40-point margin over the 3rd.
How in the world do they have that?
I don't know.
This is because they're still basing it off of what they think your total points scored for the year are going to be, right?
Yeah.
But her points for these first 4 weeks have not been high. They must think she's going to go on a tear.
The Mill Tanks is number 3.
I agree on that.
And then 4 is the Tantalizing Toucannons.
Wow, I'm honored.
Yeah. And then there's a pretty big drop to 5th, which is the Unova Dragon Rage. So that's
really low.
That's like one of the biggest. You basically flip-flop the Yampers and the Dragon Rays.
Yeah, that's low. I will say, Josh, you do not belong in 5th right
and
now.
And then 6th is Mew.
They don't like Mew. Who has not liked them?
And then 7th and 8th is exactly the same. You got Blue Golds and Unknown.
Interesting. And actually, that is reflected in the exact same lineup for the current projections. It has me being in the final 4, finishing 7-7. It still thinks somehow that Josh is going to only win 3 more games this year right now. That would be
I don't know, man.
Does not have faith in his ability to navigate the buys, I guess. That would be surprising if he dropped that. But we did see last year one of the teams that started 0-3 or started 3-0 lost the last 7 games of the whole year.
Yeah,
it can happen. It has happened.
Yeah,
interesting. Where are people lined up right now in points against? Is it still Jordan with the most?
Yeah,
for sure. 725 scored against him.
And then Mew has the 2nd most. I have the 3rd most, which is surprising.
You overcoming diversity or adversity.
Yeah. And then it's kind of a mishmash between a combo between like the Mill Tanks. Pretty much everybody at the bottom is above a little bit above 400.
The Yampers are far and away the easiest schedule right now. Well, not far and away, but by 11 points.
But not too far behind the good old Chancellor himself, sitting at 2nd.
What do you
do not score against him.
He's coming up.
So, yep. And,
all right. Well, let's take a brief moment.
Sure.
What is your assessment of the names?
Yeah. Okay. So, for those who are paying attention and don't have it in front of you, we have The unknown, we'll start from the bottom here. The unknown. Now Jordan had specifically talked to me and said that the reason he picked the unknown was because he looked up on. Jordan doesn't know a lot about Pokemon, but he knows. He Googled what the worst Pokemon was, and the overwhelming answer that he got was the unknown. So that's why he picked it. A little bit of know thyself type of embracing the suck kind of thing. Then you have the tantalizing two cannons. I like it. You obviously going with the puffin theme.
Most similar to a puffin.
A little bit of alliteration.
Mm-hmm.
I
went on the source, typed in sexy.
I like it. No new name for the Blue Golds yet, but he is working on it. I did give him one. I will actually, you know what? I'm gonna just take a shot in the dark of what he's going to do, and let's see if we can't find a. So this is what I believe. This is what I did help my dad, because my dad knows very little about Pokemon. So I did help my dad do a little bit of work on this. And this is what I believe he is going to pick. So if you can see us, we've got the Celadon City Houndoom. I believe this is going to be his Pokemon name this week. So hopefully he will change that soon and we can all have fun. So
I also like Alex is missing now. I could have gone with that because my numbers are missing this
missing
year.
now. Yeah. So then after that you have the Zap Kicking Yampers. That is a one for Kara.
Is Zap Kick a move actually?
It is a move. It is one of the moves on the Yamper Pokemon card. Actually, Yamper. So Yamper is the Corgi Pokemon version of a Corgi. It is actually specifically modeled after a Welsh Corgi, and it has an exclusive move called Ball Retrieve, which is only that Pokemon has that move, and it's basically exclusive. So Ball Fetch, I think, or Ball Retrieve. But I felt like Zap Kick. It's an electric type Pokemon.
No, I like Zap Kicking.
Zap Kicking Yampers is pretty good. Then you've got Sam with the Milwaukee Miltanks. Like it. Love the logo.
Kept Musk on there. Had to. It's part of the NDA.
Yeah. Had to. And then you have Mew, Mother of All Pokemon.
Stick with the God thing.
Yeah. Although I have seen that it's actually that some I did look it up, and some places weren't calling Mew the mother of all Pokemon, but the father of all Pokemon. But
I don't think, does Mew ever even have a gender? I'm not sure.
I am pretty sure there's no.
I think all legendary genderless actually.
Yeah. Then the Unova Dragon Rage. I am very unfamiliar with Unova. I'm assuming that's just a region.
It's a region. Is it black and white?
Might be. I never played those.
I think it's black and white. It's the one based in New York or something, I think.
Like the Dragon Rage, and then the Palatown Rivals, which was mine, which kind of worked on a few different levels. I like the Gary Oak feel. Josh and I have kind of always had this eternal struggle. Now, ironically, usually the player beats Gary, but sometimes you get caught off guard. Like if you're just wandering around the SSN, you're not ready for it, and you fought a bunch of sailors, and you turn that corner, and Gary and he catches you off guard and sends you back to the Pokemon Center. Oh, Unova is the region with the most Dragon type Pokemon. Ah, okay.
Interesting. Did not know that. So, in your opinion, what are you picking as the best name?
Well, see, 3 of these pretty much I invented.
Oh, did you come up with the Yampers too?
Well, she wanted to do the Corgi Pokemon, but I definitely kind of did the research.
You can pick your own. Josh would pick his own.
That's true. Man, I don't know. I really like mine, man. The Palatown Rivals. I put a lot of work into that. But I'm not gonna pick mine. I'm gonna make this you don't vote for yourself. You know what? I do like the Zap Kicking Yampers. I really do.
That's a good one. I actually wrote down here that my favorite was the Palatown Rivals. And it's
nice.
It's not even just I like that you were thinking about the whole who you're playing and stuff like that, but Palatown is where the Rivals came from too. So it literally is the town of the Rivals. Just the name, how it all mixes together, just the sound of the name. I really like it. Palatown Rivals. It's great.
Thank you. Yeah, for those that didn't understand,
you could use that for a whole year if you wanted to at some point.
You know, that's
when you run out of McDonald's.
When I run out of McDonald's, maybe go straight. Then I switch to my Pokemon era.
That'll last forever.
Yeah, for those that don't know, the Palatown Rivals. I did throw a few different levels of irony into here, just because. So picked Gary. He's the rival. Technically, it can be blue or red. It can be whoever you want. You can name it your best friend. I sometimes had Chuck on there every once in a while. Sometimes it was whoever I pretty much talked to last before I played the game was my rival. And Josh, if you don't understand, I picked an Articuno as my kind of logo, because dragons aren't weak to many things, but they are weak to ice. And
are they weak to fairy? You could have picked a fairy.
I think they are weak to fairy as well. And I think not fighting.
And dragon.
Ground type and dragon, maybe.
I think they're only weak to dragon and ice in the beginning.
But yeah, so I picked ice type, and if you have played Pokemon before, you know that your rival always picks your weakness or picks your strength. So, and I'm cold. Yes, I'm very cold. So if you were to pick fire, Josh, I would pick a water type. If you were, you know it, buddy. Smell you later. I mean, technically, if you're playing new Pokemon games, your rival's like your best buddy and your best friends. And
anymore, they're not really rivals. They're just every time they meet you, they're gonna be like, "Let's help each other get better."
Yeah, that was I played Sun when I was playing Moon. When I played Pokemon Moon, your rival's like, "Hey man, good job."
How do they get there? They start with a guy who's a jerk, then they mix to an actual felon, and then the whole rest of them are just like. Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, Silver. Silver, the Pokemon is your rival in Silver is he's really bad.
Yeah.
He whips his Pokemon to perform better kind of thing.
I would love for the next Pokemon game to have a rival who's a dick.
Again, get back to your roots.
You can have other little friends, because now you have 6 rivals at some point that'll talk to you. Make the other ones fun and friend, whatever. But give us one who hates you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about logos?
So logos, yeah, I liked the Dragon Rays, although I'm assuming that maybe he made that himself. That looks pretty cool. I just wanted to see if we got some plagiarism.
I did see when I was
and it is on a shirt. So Josh just
I did look up a lot of
just kidding, Josh.
People have done a lot of Pokemon sports teams, and there's some pretty cool ones, taking existing sports logos but editing them out with Pokemon stuff.
Yes, I have seen that too. That's they have every Pokemon or every sports team. I do like. So that tantalizing toucanon, is that an actual toucanon?
It is a toucanon from a side Pokemon game.
Ah,
This is artwork from one of the side games. I don't remember which one.
well, so I mean, part of me just loves the whole Miltank with Elon
Musk
Musk's
face.
face on it. Like, I mean, that's just like that's pretty like solid. Like
I think if you
outside of
would've
like,
put-
because I mean, like, so you got to be like, okay, Alex, you just took a picture of Mew off the internet. Okay, that's
I mean,
fine.
so is Unknown, and so is the Yampers, really.
Unknown and Yampers all have it. So like the true logos, you're gonna probably if the Celadon City Houndooms
That'd be better.
use that one. There is another one. There is another type that I did throw
done,
out there, but
he could have done better if he had taken the Meltank in a Cybertruck, like driving by, just like both hanging out. It's like, see ya.
There's definitely like work put into it. He had to put it into paint or something and do that. So
Is that your pick?
The Miltanks. Yeah, I'll say the Miltanks. I like it. I like the little like
It might not be original, but my pick is the Dragon Rage. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is a good looking one.
It's pretty cool.
You think I'm made of time, Alex? No, but you're a graphic designer, not a graphic designer, but you're a artist. So we were expecting at least some.
Yeah, if I had to give anyone enough, it'd be Alex.
Trying. Like, I mean, basically, this should just come naturally to you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. That's a lot of that stuff. Let's start
That is
talking about Pokemon week 5.
Yes, we are.
So tell us how terrible I did at the pick'ems last week.
Yep, 0-4. Not a single. I
Mm.
don't know why Alex keeps changing that to red. Or whoever keeps changing that to red, whatever. So yeah, 0-4. I went, and then pretty much everyone else that played went 2-2.
So pretty bad picking all around.
Yeah, some pretty rough pick'ems. But I will say, Alex, I know you're probably I mean, I know there's like some time where it's like, oh, I've missed a couple weeks, so like, what's the point in even playing? But like, if you have a couple of 0-4 weeks, like, it's not impossible for you to come back.
It's still fun.
Like Jordan resurrected his pick'ems into 9-7. So right now, Jordan and I are on top with 9-7, and Chuck is at 8-8, tied with Josh. And Alex is 5-3, and Todd 2-2 because he only picked the first week.
Can't get Kara to pick, can you?
I keep forgetting to. Last year, I definitely she was a surrogate team that I basically just like.
Oh, you would do your opposite picks.
Do the opposite of her.
Well, let's start looking at next week and get our picks in. It's an interesting lineup this week because the 2, 1, and 3 teams are against each other. The 2, 3, and 1 teams are against each other, and then all 4, 2, and 2 teams face each other. So everyone is facing someone pretty even throughout this the year so far. And we're going to end up with one person at 4-1, one person at 1-4, and then a mix of people, 3 each with 2-3 and 3-2.
Yep.
So it'll be a very interesting week for how they're kind of shaking out the standings a little bit here. I think there's a clear game of the week.
Yes, it is. It's going to be Jordan versus Chuck.
Yeah. So should we start there?
No. I mean, we can start there. Yeah, that's fine. We'll start there.
We can start with the battles for 8th place.
Yeah.
This could be a preview of your consolation
possible
bracket come week 17. Hopefully not.
Let's hope not.
We got the tantalizing Toucans versus the unknown, both 1-3. Last year, the Toucans swept the unknowns in the regular seasons before falling in the conference championship to the unknown on their way to the championship. Buys, of course, are starting this week. We will be dealing with buys for most of the rest of the regular season. As far as teams affected by it, For the two cannons, only Laporta is out, and for the unknowns, Williams is out. So not a hugely affected game this week.
Nope.
By them. So when we look at them, what do we see?
Well,
oh, sorry, Montgomery is also on by.
So this is it's close. 101 to 93 is the projected scores right now.
So if we go by each team's average, that means that Jordan should score a 90 and I should score an 86, 87. Based on how we are doing currently on average.
It should be 80 to 87. Is that what you're saying?
He should score 90 and I should score 87. If we,
oh, really?
By our average, how much we do compared to our projections.
Interesting. I like the Justin Fields pickup.
I think he's going to do all right. Everything I'm reading seems to do well. He's been running much better. Dallas has been giving up a lot to the run, except against Singletary.
Yep.
So I think he's trending in the right direction. I don't know that he's going to put up 30, but honestly, at this point, if he can put up more than 9, he's beating Murray. So that's all I need him to do.
Yep.
But I would still give the edge to Jackson over Fields.
Yeah. You guys, this is a who's who of the bottom of the barrel here. I just like, it's like hard. There's not very clear thing. I think you have him in tight end.
I think so. I think
Isaiah Likely Jordan. I would be looking for somebody other than Isaiah Likely. He is not good.
I would say I'm not really sure on Pittman. I might replace Pittman with Shakir just because he seems to have become Allen's favorite target, but he's not like routinely lighting things up. But either is Pittman. But again, here we go. Pittman's finally starting to do well. It's possibly going to be Joe Flacco, which would be better for Pittman. And Jacksonville's been terrible, so that means he's going to get a 0. So when I look at this, what it comes down to is I give a few more edges to the two cannons. So I'm going to pick the two cannons to stave off going to last place.
You're going to pick the two cannons. Hey, just so everybody's aware, a little breaking news. The Brewers won today. Good. You're a baseball fan and realize that the Brewers are in the postseason, and it's
like they won their series, or they just won the first game.
Won the second game, and it's a 3-game series, so they are 1-1 right now. So next game is to determine who moves on.
Oh, I didn't realize. Is this the wild card one?
It is a wild card.
Wild card was a single one, right? Or is it wild card?
Dave, be nice. You're used to looking at your roster. No, I mean, like, Josh, I was living this reality for the past 3 years, so I fully understand what this is like, where you're just sitting there like, how is my team that I thought was going to be so good at the beginning of the year just so underperforming? So you're going for yourself.
I don't think there's a big enough reason to pick against myself.
It's definitely close.
The only thing that would hold me against it is the fact that my team takes a big old poop on the scores every week.
I think you're going to win as well. I think Jordan, it's going to be close. I would expect you guys to be within 5 points.
It could be. It could very well be 90 to 87. Either one winning. I'm not sure. It should be an exciting, tight game. Any Monday night ones on here? I got Butker on Monday night, so it could come down to my kicker. Oh, he's got Shaheed. All right.
So it could be 3 years. Jeepers thought it was only 2. I mean, I think it was 3 because you had Tankgate.
Dave finished 23, obviously terribly. Dave finished 22 with 5-10 regular season record, and he finished 2021 with a 4-11.
Yeah, it was 3 years
He
of.
has not had a winning record since 2020.
Yep. So Josh, pity, you need to show some respect to those of us about to die. So
All right. Well, I appreciate you picking me.
yeah.
Which one's next? One of the 2-2 matches.
Yeah, let's do Alex versus let's do the Muse versus the Houndooms, my guess.
You're going to give them that name. Muse
I'm just
versus the
gonna give
Houndooms. Last year, they split in the regular season as the Houndooms were one of the few teams to beat Alex in the regular season. But then the Houndooms went on to win the conference championship en route to their second place finish. The Muse have Pollard on bye, and the the Houndooms, have Elliott, their kicker, on bye. I assume they will be replacing their kicker. But even so, a kicker is going to get him maybe like 8 projected points. So he's looking at an 89 projection, which is really bad.
Let's just round it up to 90. So 108 to 108 and a half to 90.
It's tough to get a projection that low. And you add on there that he's on average scoring 9 under his projection, he may well just get an 81.
That's very true.
Here's what I have here. It's tough sledding, I think for the Blue Golds or for the Houndooms. They've only got the two wins they have. Their opponents have scored an average of 85 points. So if Alex has like a week 2 and 3 performance, we could be seeing a Houndoom win 89 to 85 going on here. It could also be 170 to 85. You don't know for sure. It's very hard to pick what his team is going to do.
I would suggest, if I'm my dad, that you replace Charbonnet with Kareem Hunt. Charbonnet's pretty much going to be a non-factor anymore.
Back, he's not going to be valuable.
But Kareem Hunt, I was just reading.
You take Hunt over Madison?
The Athletics' Nate Taylor recently wrote that Kareem could be the Chiefs starter in Week 5 against the Saints. So I do.
They have a 3-back rotation going on right now.
Yeah, but he played very well, so like I think that would give him more chances to play.
It could be worth the risk. Honestly, at this point, once you got to lose, it could be worth the risk. I think the Jets defense.
I mean, Alexander Madison is going to. It is also saying that he's got a bunch of guys that according to the papers are slated to get an increase in workload. So I would drop Charbonnet like a.
I would think he'd want to switch out the Jets
rotten bag of potatoes
against Minnesota.
Yeah.
Reminder: that game is at 9:30 Eastern in the morning on Sunday.
What is?
They're playing in London. The Jets. So it's an early game. Watch out for that.
Yeah.
So when I look at him here, I think it is going to be a wider margin. Maybe Alex actually gets 108. That'd be unusual. He'd be getting an average type score there. But, he's happy with Mayfield. We've heard it. He's very happy with Mayfield. So I think that he is going to use strength on the truck so I can pick the Muse.
What? What are you doing? I don't get anything you're saying.
Using strength on the truck to get the Mew? So in the original games, if you find a way to get cut from the guy on the SSN and then faint afterwards, the boat will still be there later in the game. So you can come back later when you have surf, and then you can surf in the dock area there. And over on one side that you can't see normally, there's just like a truck sprite that's never used anywhere else. And so everyone all for a long time thought that if you somehow could move it with strength, that's where the elusive Mew was hidden. It was under this truck.
I know what you're talking about now. That initially was very.
I'm sure somebody got it.
I'm sure.
Alex got it. There we go.
Well, IOL. I don't know what IOL stands for.
It's a lowercase L.
LOL. Okay.
So I'm picking the Muse. I think
Picking the
Todd
Muse.
time winning this one.
But
again, I wouldn't be shocked. It wouldn't blow me away.
oh man, this is a tough one. But
you're ahead of me now. You don't have to necessarily pick contrary just to try to get points.
I know, but I just have this feeling
inside your bones.
Yeah, that no pun intended. I'm gonna pick the dark horse here, and the dark dog. I think he's gonna use some bite and chomping on Mew and put that Mew in a coma.
All right.
I have this weird feeling that if my dad makes the right choices, if he makes the right choices on Thursday,
140,
and he switches out his kicker, and I just have
what
this
about quarterback?
Weird feeling.
Does he need to put Carr in?
No, I think Patrick Mahomes is still a fine choice. He will eventually play better.
I mean, I would love to have had my quarterback at least scoring 15 every week.
I also don't know if Baker Mayfield is. I feel like it's going to bite him.
Oh yeah, so I kind of mentioned this. You look at Baker Mayfield's thing, and Alex is all about the matchup. So the three games that Baker Mayfield has, the 3 games Baker Mayfield has topped 20. He played the team ranked giving up the 2nd most, 8th most, and 10th most points. And the one time he got an 8, he played the team giving up the 26th most. And he's playing the team giving up the 20th most. So just looking at that trend there, it's likely that the next 2 weeks, because then he plays the team who's got the 28th rank, the next 2 weeks could be rough for him. Plus, anytime you have a division game.
It's divisional, and it's a Thursday night game. And Thursday night games have been horrendously the trend for Thursday night games have been dogfights, not high scoring games. The score is gonna be 17-10. Barely any touchdowns scored. You're gonna be kicking field goals. I don't know. I don't see Baker Mayfield coming away with like 30 points here.
I don't think Mayfield's gonna do great. I just don't think it's gonna be enough to make him lose to Todd. But maybe it will be.
Makes sense. It is. Is it home or away?
Well, he does give them more credit at home. It is at Atlanta.
It's at Atlanta. He's dropping Baker Mayfield tonight. Just watch. He's going to be on waivers tonight.
It's time to get back on the Josh Dobbs train.
Josh Dobbs.
All right. So how about the other 2-2 game we got?
All right, the Yampers and the Miltanks.
Yampers and the Miltanks. Last week.
Normal versus electric.
Last week, the Yampers, last year, the Miltanks swept the Yampers. And actually, get this. This is very interesting. I was not expecting to find this stat. So in 2023, Sam swept Kara. In 2022, Kara swept Sam. In 2021, Sam swept Kara. Also in 2020, Sam swept Kara. In fact, it's been since 2019 that they actually have split. So whoever wins this first one is going to win the next one too. So there's a lot riding on this game. In general, though, the all-time Yahoo rivalry between them, Sam is up 10-4 against Kara. He has done very well against her. The Yampers have no buys, but the Miltanks have Goddard, Gibbs, and Ridley.
Yeah, that's hurtful. That's going to hurt.
It does. He's definitely more affected. She's got some potential injuries and stuff. I don't know if McBride's going to be back. You don't know about Adams. So she's dealing with some stuff there.
Calvin Ridley's
whole Hill and Chan not having a good team anymore.
Yeah, that hurts.
Because honestly, that's probably her biggest downfall is the Tua thing. When I look at this, though, just the tight end matchup should very well skew towards her, but kicker should skew towards Sam. I think that Sam is going to be a powerhouse still and going to be one of the top teams fighting it out of the last 4, but I don't think this is the week that he bounces back. He had a bad week last week, and he's dealing with a lot of buys this week. I think Hall playing in London and against Minnesota is going to be a little difficult. So I actually went ahead and picked the Yampers.
Interesting.
Maybe.
You actually, I thought you were building up for a Miltank pick, but
I mean, it could be, but he's been very fortunate. Goddard's been one of the better tight ends. Who he doesn't have. Gibbs has been very strong for him. Ridley's been, good enough. But it could, it's going to probably come down to Cook and Allen. Honestly, if Cook and Allen do really well, and Hall can chip in big points, he'll be fine. Houston's a tough team, though, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Yep, I think the way this is probably gonna work out is, you're gonna have some. Miltank's gonna do some headbutts and some body slams, but the speed of the zap kicking Yampers with a little bit of some static, which might paralyze him, and then finish him off with a thunderbolt. I think Kara takes this away with the Yampers.
And even though zap kick is probably an electric move, it's still a fighting type move, and fighting is, of course, the only weakness to the normals.
Normal types, yep. That is true.
You got to look at your matchups.
Yep.
All right, so that brings us to the game of the week.
The game of the week.
Not because the projections are particularly close.
Hosted
because two top teams.
Sponsored by Wisco Resale.
Yes, game of the week sponsored by Wisco.
The Wisco Resale game of the week.
If it wasn't a huge amount of effort, probably, to actually do this, I would love to go back and see all the matchups that have been whenever the top two teams of that current time are playing each other, and that
would be a lot of work.
You'd have to go through each year, keeping track of the standings every week. So I will not do that, but it's always fun when you have the top two teams playing each other.
Yep.
And it's even more fun when it's two. Even though I don't think you're the official rivals, your official rival this year is Kara, and his is Sam, I believe.
Yeah.
This is a rivalry.
It is a rivalry.
And so last year, you guys split 1-1. What's your all-time? I'm going to look up your all-time records against each other real quick here.
Yeah, I did remember that split because I remember I was already pretty much done last year when I fought Josh the second time. I think I won. It was kind of a weird one because I caught Josh on an off week.
Yeah. So all time, you're fairly close. Josh is up 8-5. For buys, we have the Dragon Rage, have Hertz, St. Brown, and Dobbins, which is quite a lot. Plus Taylor is potentially out on injury.
And so and possibly Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, possibly.
Malik Neighbors did not practice today.
He's in concussion protocol, right?
He is in concussion protocol.
That would be a big hit to him.
I did read an article that said that somebody did say that they weren't expecting him to play. Now that just is somebody just seeing the severity of his injury, but they thought that if he didn't practice today, that he probably won't play.
Interesting. On Wednesday, be telling.
Well, I think the idea is you won't have enough time to get. I was reading about this was a couple weeks ago. I read about the concussion protocol, and they said there's 7 steps to concussion protocol, and practice is step 2. Step 3, and so if you're not meeting those criteria soon enough, then you just won't get cleared.
And a rookie isn't the same as a veteran when it comes to missing a whole week of practice and then getting into the game.
Yep. Now, I don't think if Malik Neighbors can play, he's still going to catch balls on Sunday.
Yes. He'll figure his things out.
Matchup is a little less.
Buy is Barkley, which is a big hit, but I think he's got more hits, which is reflected in the projection right now.
Yeah.
Love, that's probably a good choice. Travis Kelce should be much better now that he's the only one catching a ball.
Yeah.
From them until they get Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
I just don't see a reason to pick the Dragon Rage right now. I would have to pick the rivals and their ice type specialty. If we look at your averages, You should be probably approaching 132 for your score, tying your previous record.
Nice.
And the Dragon Rage should be scoring about 113. By that, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's definitely going to be close. I don't see it being. I do have 2 people on Monday, so Josh's team is going to be done by. Oh no!
Sunday 3:25 game.
By 6:00, we are going to know what Josh's score is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting. And I'll still have quite a bit because I got a Sunday. Oh no, Sunday morning game. Kind of throws me off.
Got 2 Monday nights though. So.
I got 2 Monday nights, so it might be sitting there just kind of crossing my. I might have to pay attention to Monday night.
I mean, honestly, if you're trying to have 2 people around it out, Kelsey and Kamara are pretty good right now.
Well, yeah, as long as the New Orleans doesn't fall behind too soon, which it doesn't seem like the Saints or the Kansas City has not been able to really score much on their opponents. So
here's another interesting tidbit for you, Dave. Of the top 10 ranked scoring running backs so far this year, you have running back 1, running back 2, and running back 5.
Nice.
So that's been going well for you.
I could probably have more if McCaffrey wasn't immediately injured.
But Mason is like he's either the number 2 or the number 5. I don't remember. He's done fine.
Mason's definitely been doing well.
He's been fine. It was actually interesting. I wrote out the top 5 quarterbacks, tight ends, and kickers, and the top 10 running backs and wide receivers, and who's got what. And actually, outside of running backs, though, you're kind of absent. The only other thing you even pop in is you have the 3rd highest wide receiver. That's it. You don't have
Justin
anything.
Jefferson.
Yeah, you don't have anything in the top 5 for quarterback, tight end, or kicker. In an interesting turn of events, Sam has the highest scoring kicker this year.
How's that interesting? Didn't he have the highest scoring kick? Oh no, he had the worst scoring kicker last year. He had 31. That's right, and he would not
the opportunity to
change him.
Actually, so I kind of just did I don't know how to perfect this, but for quarterback and tight end, I gave 5 points for having the best. Second was 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then for running back and wide receiver, I did 5 points for the best, 4.5 for second, 4 for third, and so on, down to a half point. And if we add those points up, the person with the best team by that metric is actually Alex.
Wow.
He has the 3rd best quarterback. He has wide receiver he has running back number 3. He has wide receiver number 2 and 10, and he has tight end number 2. And he has kicker number 2. So he's got a lot. But again, I think that's skewed by like a couple of them having 1 week of like 30 points and then not going. So the worst is actually Kara, who only has QB2, and that's it. It's the only place she has anybody on there.
Wow.
So everyone else falls in between. I just thought that was it. Every once in a while, I like to kind of see where everybody is on the top leaderboards there. But
yeah,
some are more valuable than others, so I don't have a perfect science of.
So I don't think we officially stamped it into. You're picking me, I'm assuming.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I definitely am.
Yeah, no surprise there. I'm also picking myself. Sorry, Josh.
Are we the same? No, we're not, because you're picking.
I picked Todd over Alex. Which is I went a little rogue there.
You got a little buffer now. You can do it.
Yeah, I'd love to hit a 4-0 at some point. I don't think many people. We'd have to look back and see how many.
Henry, I think, is No, he's not RB1. He must be RB3. Yeah.
Hit any perfect games. Okay, so Josh got a perfect game in last year's week 2. You had a perfect pick week 4
of last year.
Oh, you also had a perfect pick week 8 of last year.
Yes, Henry is RB3.
Alex had a perfect week on week 9 of last year, and Alex also had a perfect week 6. Sorry, so I'm going a little out of order. Week 12, you had a perfect pick. Man,
I
you
did
just
well last year.
racking up the perfects. Week 12, then nobody, and then Kara had a perfect pick week 14. And then
Gave her something to be happy about.
Then we hit the playoffs week 15. Both pretty much you, me, and Kara all had a perfect pick.
Well, there's only 3 games. Well, there's only 2 games. The first one.
2 games, yep. And nobody perfect and nobody perfect. So
that's like a 33% chance of a perfect game happening. Somebody picking perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's but none yet this year.
Very close. Interesting that the 4 people that have picked every game so far are all within 1 game of each other.
Yeah.
Right now. So very tight.
Very tight.
And in the pro pick'ems, nothing really changed. It's still me and you tied at the top with 36. Todd's got 34, Jordan has 32, and Josh has 30. So all within 6. Now with the buys, though, nobody can get 16 for a little bit.
Yep, we're no longer able to get 16 points. Yeah, it was the weekly performance. Everybody kind of hit around 8. It was you were either picking 8 or 7. So AWOL technically, according to this, I don't know if it's because of the tiebreaker, but they officially won this past week. Appalachian White Lightning. So it must have something to do with the tiebreaker, but
interesting.
They officially won.
That. Week 4, he didn't get any of them right. He picked Miami to get the lowest. So I don't know. Interesting. The inner workings there.
Yeah, I don't really understand how it works.
Well, I look forward to week 5. See what surprising new Pokemon might suddenly attack us in the grass.
That's true.
See how we
Yeah, it was fun. I do like
games. I'll be just listening to the red blue battle theme.
Yeah. That's a good one. I actually like the battle theme for silver and gold, but the gold and silver one has this weird like tempo that's like it feels like it's like kind of stuck. Like there's a point in the music where it feels like it is kind of on a loop. And you're like, did the record skip? And no, it's just
interesting. I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah, listen to it. Actually, before we go, we'll do a little fourth quarter thing, not football related. Favorite Pokemon game and reason why.
Game.
Yep. I'll allow you to say like
just the generation.
Like the generation.
Yeah. To be completely honest, I have always had a real nostalgic soft spot for Gold Silver. I think, obviously Red and Blue was the first that I played, and then Gold and Silver just, even to this day, going back to that world, just kind of the wooded, more empty, kind of less populated, ancient type feel there. I just really love it.
So do you like Gold and Silver better or do you like Heart Gold and Soul Silver better?
I would say that I would prefer Gold Silver. I think.
Oh, really?
I like the 8-bitness of the music a little bit, but Heart Gold and Soul Silver's.
What about?
I think they had a little bit more lore too that's necessarily in.
What about Crystal? Like, I mean, I know that's pitted in there, but like, would you rather play Crystal than you would like Silver or Gold?
It doesn't have to be Crystal. No. I mean, there's some differences, obviously, but I think Crystal makes, puts Suicune on a different level, and the other two kind of keep them all even. So, I don't know.
Sure.
I do like, that's probably it. Hoenn might be my second. Ruby and Sapphire might be my second one then.
Yeah, okay. That's the third generation?
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of surfing, but there's a lot of 8-bit trumpets too, which is cool.
Yeah. If you guys are still paying attention, chime in on chat. I'd love to hear what you guys believe. If you guys do play any of the Pokemon games, I know Josh is really liking this ROM hack called Pokemon Uranium.
Ooh.
So now, granted, you got the classic Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue. I got them both. I do not have Pokemon Yellow.
I mean, I love that Red and Blue. You could sit down and play the whole game in like 3 hours too.
Yes. Yeah, I've never gotten that good, but like Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are pretty good. Like, I do enjoy it, although man, I hate to be redundant, but I love, like, so you told me about, like, I used to be a purist. 151 original 151 first generation, like, I don't want to see any weird Garbodor or freaking ice cream cone Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have to deal with that. What I wanted was
your
like,
magnetized balls that stick together and your 3 Diglets that just hang out together.
Yeah. No, and so I was just like, I just had such a soft spot for first generation. And then you told me, I remember getting the text and you're like, hey man, the DS store, Pokemon Silver is on sale right now. And it was like $2 to get the Pokemon Silver for the 3DS. And I picked it up and man, was my life changed. Like, dude, I loved that. It was just basic silver, super fun. I loved being able to go back to Kanto.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are things that really bothered me, like just about like there were some Pokemon that you just don't get until like Houndour and Houndoom. Like I don't know how Houndour and Houndoom, the game's basically over and you can finally get them. It's just like, come on.
There's some very frustrating things. I would love to play Crystal Legacy. That would maybe be my favorite. Played it, but it's from what I've seen.
Yeah, and I like Crystal Legacy. It's fine, but I just, man, it's just so fun. Like the day and night cycle, I thought I would absolutely hate, and it was just like, nope, this is super cool. I love it.
Well, it is for sure.
I love being able to, like, you know, you put the game away and then you pop it back up, and now it's a different time, and now like people are calling you and saying, hey, do you want to fight? Being able to go and fight trainers that you've already fought, and now their teams are better. Like they might have an evolved version of the Pokemon you originally fought. Like that's really cool.
Absolutely. And I would definitely say that as much as it is fun, I guess, seeing the Pokemon just wandering around in the Scarlet and Violet, both Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield feel emptier than the worlds. The towns feel fake. There's not much going on in them. Like the world is bigger, but it feels emptier.
Interesting. I mean, that's definitely could be way more possible, and that makes sense. I have seen some Scarlet and Violet, like, and yeah, it does almost feel like, because there's one thing where it's like you're sitting there watching it from above in a 2D, and there's people just standing around, and it doesn't really break. It doesn't break the immersion of like the town still feels full, even though there's people just standing outside of a gym. But as soon as you make it 3D where you're walking through and now there's people just standing around doing nothing, it does make it feel lifeless.
Yeah. Well, and in Scarlet and Violet in particular, like each town has almost nothing going on. There's like buildings, but the only ones you can ever enter is like the gym and the Pokemon Center.
Like you can't just go into random buildings?
No.
Really?
No. So like there's just nothing in these towns. There's like no reason to ever go back to any town. There's just nothing going on. It's weird. If you haven't, I wouldn't say maybe go buy it if you need to, but like it's weird.
Well, I have Sword and Shield, so.
Plus, there's so much land. I think Sword and Shield was probably better than Scarlet and Violet, although I did like the music towards the end. But Sword and Shield was pretty, it wasn't that open world thing, but that doesn't matter to me.
No. I mean, I think eventually, Pokemon needs to evolve the way their gameplay is and just be like, actually do make it. Although and it is kind of cool to see the Pokemon walking around, but there was something just magical about like walking through the tall grass and you're hunting for this Pokemon that has like a 5% chance and it just shows up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yes, finally. Like, and I feel like now I'm not a shiny hunter, but like even finding shiny Pokemon in Silver, once they started introducing that stuff, it was kind of fun to be like, oh sweet, like hey, or even I would say like Fire Red, and you get a shiny whatever.
Or encountered a shiny.
I've only done it. I've outside of like you can get shiny Gyarados in Silver.
Yeah, I got that one, but I have played a lot of Pokemon in my life, and I have never gotten a shiny.
I saw one shiny in Fire Red, and no, in Moon I have a shiny. What's the meta? What is the original Metagross? What's the
Beldum?
Beldum. I saw shiny Beldum, and it was sweet, and I never caught it because Beldum's impossible to catch anyways, and then they make it shiny, and it makes it almost impossible.
Be cool to see one though.
It was. It made some weird noise, and I didn't really know what was going on because I had never really encountered a shiny, and then I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, shiny Pokemon.
Interesting.
But yeah, so Fire Red, Alex, that's a great one. Love it. Never played Uranium, Josh. Heard it. You talked about it. Heard it was.
Oh, is
good.
that the game where all of your Pokemon steadily die of cancer throughout the game? Or
yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, like you got to keep getting them treatment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I think. So it's definitely not. It has a lot of Pokemon that are fan-made Pokemon. Actually, I think it's.
Oh, it has like completely new Pokemon too.
Yes.
Oh.
166 fan-made species.
Interesting.
So, it is in a new region.
It's completely own game. That's interesting. Did I know?
Yeah, it's a completely owned, like fan-made. Something about the player's mother was lost after a explosion in a nuclear power plant. So, and a severely irradiated Pokemon looms over the region, ready to destroy everything. So it is actually deal with
radiation. Put on your sunscreen before you play that one.
So I've heard good things. I've heard most people really enjoy it. Never tried it, so but check it out. Play Pokemon.
Yeah, do something Pokemon this week.
Yeah. And
good luck to everybody except for Kara. No, not Kara. I'm not playing Kara. I already forgot who I'm playing. Good luck to everybody except Jordan.
Sorry. Good luck to everybody but Josh. Yeah. See you guys.